Tonight on Lowdown, we're taking a closer look into the improv group Shenanigans. We'll talk with a student about Autism Awareness Month and sit down with a couple students making their way into the world of media production. All this coming up next. Hello and welcome back to Lowdown, a show by the students of the University of Central Missouri in Warrensburg. I'm Kylie Gannett. Thanks for joining us this evening as we continue to dive into all the cool things happening here at UCM. Speaking of, let's take a look behind the curtain into the spontaneous world of improv.
I'm Ellie!
Adrian!
Gracie! Katie!
Luke!
Bailey! Elise!
Ryan! Oh, Gonzalez!
Kelsey! Ashton! And we are... Shenanigans!
Hi, I'm with Allie Fields, and we're talking a little bit about the group Shenanigans. What is Shenanigans?
Shenanigans is a UCM organization, basically an auditioned comedic improv group who want to audition and they just enjoy improv.
Cool. And how did you get involved in Shenanigans?
Well, I thought I was really funny, so I went ahead and auditioned. And I didn't actually make it my first time that I auditioned, but the second time it worked for me, so I was on the team. And that was in the fall of 2018, and I've been on the team since then.
Wow, and you're the captain now, right?
Oh, yeah, that's
awesome.
fun.
Awesome. It is a lot of fun. I've seen several of your shows. What does Shenanigans mean to you? I mean, why is it important to you? Why do you continue to be involved in it?
It's really fun for me because I really enjoy the people that I get to work with. They're all my peers. Some of them are not, in which case I get to make them be my peer. And I do make them. We have to be friends. But it's really enjoyable. It's a really fun, trusting experience being able to lean on other people in a scene and create just funny comedic moments for people. And sometimes they're not always funny. They're sad or they're happy scenes and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
It's really enjoyable.
Why do you think people should go see Shenanigans?
I think people should go see Shenanigans because it's a really fun experience. There's a lot of audience participation with asking for audience suggestions, making sure that there's always improv moments. So nothing is pre-planned. Everything is, other than like the games that we're going to play and the people who are playing those games, there's absolutely no pre-planning. It's a really fun, enjoyable experience for the audience as well as like the performers and getting to interact with each other.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you rehearse and ways you get ready for different performances?
Yeah, so a lot of the games that we play are games that we do practice during rehearsal. We offer each other suggestions as a team, but really that's just to get the newer team members to learn how to play the games that we regularly play for the audience. A lot of our rehearsals is usually in the wee hours of the night at 10 o'clock p.m. just because that's when most of our team members are available to play. There's really a lot of just fun, goofing around, preparing for the shows upcoming, making sure everyone's comfortable with each other in the games and the scenes with each other. It's a really very relaxed scenario.
In what ways has improv helped you, as whether it's a performer or a person?
So improv definitely has helped me be able to think more on my feet. Whenever I'm put in a certain situation, I need to know how to be adaptable and how to learn to trust the other people that I'm with in that certain situation, whether it's in improv or just a regular like job or working fast food or anything like that. It's just a really fun way to learn adaptability and be able to work quickly in a fast-paced environment.
People always think that improv doesn't have any rules, but there are certain rules, right, that you follow. I know of little things like yes and can you tell us a little bit about some of the rules of improvisational theater?
So yes and is probably like the biggest rule. It's just never saying no or denying what's going on in the scene. So for example, if you're in a hospital and someone comes running in saying like, my arm is cut off, and obviously they still have their arm, and if you say like, no, it's not, it's right there attached to your shoulder, like you're saying no to a possible scene. And it's really important to always say yes. Some other rules that come along with that, definitely supporting the other people that you're in a scene with, always saying yes to their suggestions. Trusting yourself, trusting your instincts, as well as trusting the other people on stage are just some of the few rules of improv.
Can you think of a favorite experience you had on stage and maybe the most awkward one?
The best one. It was definitely also the most awkward. So our theme, usually we have different themes for the shenanigan shows. It just helps the shenanigan members dress up, kind of give them a little bit of a fun thing to do while they're performing. One of the themes for the evening was Disney princesses. So obviously I dressed up as Remy from Ratatouille because he's my favorite Disney princess. And so I carried with me some cheese sticks that I just put in my pocket, and accidentally one of the cheese sticks fell out of my pocket in the middle of like a dramatic thing. It was hilarious, also very awkward, and it was a great happy accident that happened for a really funny scene moment.
I think people think that improv is a lot about trying to be funny, but I think it's just the opposite, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. It's always about just making sure that the scene happens, and then there are just happy accidents or accidentally funny moments. You shouldn't make it your choice to tell a joke. It should be to tell the scene. And often the scene happens to be funny, which that's what turns it into a good scene, when it's a happy accident.
What do you think your greatest strength is in improv, and what's something that you work on?
So something that I feel as though I'm really good at improv is definitely trusting the other members on my team. Often I don't always have creative ideas, so it's really important to trust the other members. You shouldn't ever always lead the scene, but sometimes a scene does need a push or it needs its supporting characters. And so I feel as though I'm really strong in trusting my other teammates, kind of gauging a feel at who should lead the scene or if I need to lead a scene and stuff like that. Something I know I need to work on is trusting myself. It's easy for me to trust other people, but trusting my instincts, making sure that I make that first initial thing. If I have a great idea, just go with it. I don't need to think it out so much because it's improv. So.
Mm-hmm. And I do think a lot of people think that, well, gosh, you're so confident if you get up there. Sometimes just the opposite is true, isn't it?
Yes, for sure. It gets really scary, especially when there's an audience and they're really feeding everything that you're getting, and then all of a sudden there's a really awkward breaking point in the scene, and you're just like, what do I say? Stuff like that, so.
Allie, thank you so much. I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity to sit down and talk with you about shenanigans.
Of course. Thank you for having me so much.
Thank you for tuning in. We're here with Davin Jeremiah of the Galleria. So, can I just get a quick introduction from you and what you do?
Yeah, my name is Davin Jeremiah. I'm a filmmaker, editor, photographer. Definitely just a kid that just likes to create every day. Try to do what I can to just make something new, make something cool for people to see.
Rock on. So, how did this, the create bug, how'd that start for you?
Actually, it was after I kind of stopped doing athletics in college. I was really into fashion and everything, and then fashion kind of took that sense of just doing photography. I fell in love with just like the mixture of colors and just like how things look, like architecture and all that stuff. So that really pushed me to like grab a camera and start taking photos, and also end up doing videos too.
It's funny you say that because there really is like it's like the whole kind of culture behind it. It all like mixes in together. That's like a really...
Oh yeah, 100%. It's just pop culture in general.
Yeah, like it's makes stuff that's nice to look at, and there's a lot of nice stuff to look at.
Yeah, no, for sure, yeah.
So that's how you got interested in everything. When was the first project you had an idea of what you wanted to make, and you got your hands on a camera, and then went and did something?
My first actual project, I kind of started out just like how, mostly how everybody does. Just kind of just picking up a camera. I wanted to start doing like YouTube and stuff like that, but I felt like I definitely could add some layers and create something that's more of mine instead of just filming my life. So I would just like do like just little edits for just like little organizations like ROTC, the ROTC department here, or just like one of my friends that were like athletes or something. That's pretty much all.
And now that you've kind of got your footing in that, you're trying to break out into more of making things for yourself, more like cinematic and artistic endeavors?
Yeah, so currently I do the same thing as IYBC. We're kind of like here and there, with music videos and stuff like that. We do pretty much the same thing, just like people said, just making, something new for people to see. Especially with music videos, there's not really a certain way to do anything. So all creativity is just based off what you experience, for sure.
What's been the hardest part so far of getting a production company together?
Right now, it's well, I feel like handling the hard part is just definitely just delegation, tasking people, and also yourself, and keeping yourself accountable of what you need to be doing and what the others need to be doing. You know, just knowing your role and knowing what you need to, you know, improve in, and just being honest with each other. That's pretty much all. That's pretty much all the creativity part's easy. The more business and, you know, structure side is definitely the hard part.
Yeah, you got these creative-minded people that aren't usually the best at the analog, you know, delegation.
Yeah, and 100%.
Business side of it. What is kind of your mission statement with what you're doing?
Honestly, at least with the gallery and just myself, the mission statement is definitely just to, of course, to create, but just to, you know, make lifelong connections with people. I definitely love the industry that I'm in, just because I get to meet, you know, these people that make music and, you know, that play, you know, a certain sport, and they're just really good at what they do, and just being able to be that person that they trust for you to capture that is definitely just an honoring moment, and to have them trust you. So that definitely makes it, you know, my mission statement is just to kind of just be that person that emphasizes their vision.
Rock on. What are some goals that you have for the future? My goals right now currently is just to, I guess short term for me, that's really on my head, is just to become more trustworthy with my team that I'm currently working with, to definitely develop more of a better chemistry with them, and, you know, just keeping each other accountable for sure, because, you know, you can't really work anything well without, you know, having a good, well-oiled machine. Mm-hmm.
So that's how I kind of think of it. And goal-wise, at least further than that, probably, you know, just working with big names, of course. That's definitely, you know, the goal for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of how getting there is just, I mean, you never know with the internet, so you can really just do one good thing and, you know, people could see it, but you definitely want them to know it's from hard work also.
Mm-hmm. Not just a fluke.
Yeah, it's not a fluke, yeah, of course.
Make sure it's consistently good.
100%.
How do you feel about the internet music video, like the kind of production company? Because that's like a multifaceted kind of.
Oh.
I like the culture of that on the internet. How do you feel about that, the whole scene?
I absolutely love it, just because it's not like, I feel like before it used to be a still set, like you have to be a professional to do a lot of these things, but even with just like my friends, like when I first started with IWBC, of course, we literally would just pull stuff off just with, you know, with just the cameras we have and the locations we had around Warrensburg, or just doing whatever we can, just outsourcing yourself basically. Mm-hmm. I think it honestly pushes the creativity of an individual even further, just because of the lack of resources to see what they can use to their advantage. For sure. So, I mean, I really love it, just seeing what people can do.
All right. And I guess my final question would be, what I've asked them is, why should people care about what you do?
Why should people care? I think it's simply just because I care about the people that I work with too. The relationship with the people that I'll do videos for, or, you know, technically like an artist. I care about them just as much as, you know, as they care about their product being good, because at the end of the day, we both need each other. Mm-hmm. Especially in the world of the internet, it definitely makes the process smoother and just more efficient. So.
Rock on, man. Well, thank you very much for sitting down and talking today, man. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
April is Autism Awareness Month, and here in the studio with me to talk about life on the spectrum and to share ways in which you can be an ally to those who are neurodiverse is Luke Habian. Thank you for joining me, Luke.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So, Luke, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at UCM?
I'd be happy to. Well, I guess my name is Luke Habian. I'm a sophomore now. I work in the Department of Theater and Dance. I'm studying to get my bachelor's of fine arts in design technology for theater. And yeah, I've just been, you know, a part of productions here, both as an actor and as a designer and technician.
Now, something that I learned about you earlier this semester is that you yourself are on the spectrum, right?
Yes, that is correct.
So would you mind telling us what your diagnosis is and when you were diagnosed?
Yes. So it's an umbrella. It's becoming like an umbrella term, but I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, which is slowly just becoming a part of the autism spectrum disorder. I was diagnosed close to my freshman year of high school, but it's been something that I've always known.
Now, since being diagnosed, have there been any challenges that you've faced?
Oh, absolutely. I've always acknowledged that I'm not the best in social situations. Although granted, having the diagnosis really helped solidify that there's nothing wrong with me. It's just how my brain is wired. But yes, there have been challenges both with interacting with people, just having people understand what it means to be autistic because of it's been stereotyped in the media and the world.
So you are an actor, you're a playwright, and you're a theater technician. Am I leaving anything out?
A designer, director.
So you wear a lot of hats here in the theater department at UCM.
Yes, that is true.
So I was fortunate enough to catch you in Red last semester with Dr. Aaron Scully, and you were phenomenal.
Oh, thank you very much.
But also earlier this semester, I got to see a one-man show, if you will, that you wrote and performed. Would you mind telling us a little bit about that show, maybe for those who weren't able to see it?
Yes, absolutely. It was like you said, a one-man show of a night on the spectrum is what it was called. It was a black box where, sort of like a live panel, I talked about how to be a good ally to people who are neurodiverse, and I talked about some stigmas against people who are neurodiverse, and I also just it was just a general we are here, we are on the spectrum, and we're just as important as anyone else.
So you created a safe and very inviting space for everybody in the room. I mean, you engaged with the audience, you encouraged us to ask questions, and at the end you even led us all in a sing-along to Rainbow Connection from the Muppet movie.
Yes.
You also gave us a glimpse at your life, and you shared with us some resources on how we can better understand autism and be a stronger ally to those on the spectrum. Would you mind sharing some of those resources with our Lowdown viewers?
Oh, absolutely. I think the first place that anyone should go to is to get better knowledge on how to be an ally, or if you think that you are neurodiverse, I would definitely recommend going to the Autism Self-Advocacy Network. It has become a really prevalent in the spectrum community as a resource for both people in and out of the spectrum. There's also many other wonderful organizations. There's a organization, the Color of Autism, as a network that's specifically for people of color and the spectrum. There's one for women and non-binary. There are so many resources. You simply just have to Google autism advocacy networks.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing those. How about films or TV shows? Are there any films or TV shows that you would recommend that you think do a great job at representing people on the spectrum?
Oh, absolutely. I think a prominent example is Rain Man, starring Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman. Some other really good films, Extremely Loud, Incredibly Close. But in television shows, I highly recommend that if you have a Netflix subscription to check out Atypical. Its character is on the spectrum, and what the show's creators did is that over the season they introduce more people on the spectrum and actually have them in production positions as directors and writers. There's not a lot. There's The Good Doctor, if you have just simple cable. It's on ABC, I believe. NBC. It's on NBC. The Good Doctor. Again, on Netflix, there's Love on the Spectrum. There's The A Word if you have Amazon Prime. A lot of examples just across the streaming services.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely recommend Atypical. Atypical is a favorite of mine. I really like it.
I do too.
So as a college student on the spectrum, have you found that your peers and your professors have helped make UCM a really safe and inviting environment for you?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely with students, especially people with my age. I think everyone strives to be a good ally, both to people of color, to gender and sexuality, but also to people on the spectrum. Granted, though, there is still sometimes the stigma that people on the spectrum or who are neurodiverse, it's a disorder. I simply don't see it as that. I simply see it as just people are built differently in the mind, and I think as long as like people just look past the word disorder and just see people as myself as unique individuals who have wants and needs just as everyone else, that's honestly the best way that people can be an ally. But coming here to UCM, that has been way more prevalent than in the past.
So what are some steps that you think we could take here at UCM to make it even safer and even more inclusive? And do you have any tips for people at home who want to be stronger allies?
Oh, absolutely. The first step that I always say is do your research. The worst thing that you could do is assume what you know about autism. We live in the golden age of the internet. Go online and simply do research on it. And then I would just say, if you ever interact with someone who is neurodiverse, just have patience. It might take them a while to comprehend what you say, to fully understand it. I would just simply, I guess that's the first thing, just don't assume. Just go in and treat that person the way they want to be treated. Granted, they might have some things about them, like maybe some tics, maybe they have issues with eye contact. Just don't force them into your idea of normal. Just work with them and understand them.
So what are your goals for the future? Like, what do you want to do after you graduate?
Well, when I graduate, I hope to just enter the theater world. I want to work as a technician, a director, and a designer, and even an actor in some cases. All the while, I want to after I graduate, I want to go to grad school to get my master's in playwriting, so I could begin to publish more works, because I like to think I'm a writer first than anything else, and I've been pushing out a bunch of plays and all that.
And you are very talented. I think you could really excel in that career.
Yes, thank you very much.
So would you ever consider staging your one-man show, A Night on the Spectrum, again? Would you maybe take it to schools around the state or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. I would definitely, I would definitely have enough room to even add more stuff to it. But yes, definitely, granted though, as a college student I don't have a lot of time, but I would definitely love to just, take this to other places, universities, high schools, middle schools. I think this is just an important topic that people just need to be more knowledgeable about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Luke. I appreciate you sitting down with me and sharing with me, and I look forward to seeing all the work that you do next year.
Well, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Hello, we are here with Andrew Smith of IYBC Productions, and can you just introduce yourself a little bit for me, Andrew?
Yeah, so I'm one of the 3 members, and mainly what I do is a lot of the editing and a lot of animations. That's sort of my specialty, and we just shoot out music videos and have fun, and that's my main goal, is just to keep doing that with my friends and have a good time.
Well, that's the most important part. Like,
Yeah.
It seems with a lot of these productions, it gets kind of caught up in that, like, the rat race of like the views and the money and stuff, but you got to keep having fun.
Got to.
And bless you for being the editor and the animator when it comes to that, because that can be a lot of not fun sometimes.
Well, we all kind of do everything together, except I don't film because the cameras are really heavy. So I just kind of stick to doing cool effects, and we all just kind of brainstorm together. I think we got some great minds.
What are some? What would you like to do in the future with IYBC Productions?
We're actually planning on moving out to LA with some of our music friends here later this year in like late July. So we're just gonna try to take over. Make as many music videos as we can. Gonna be eating a lot of ramen.
But dude, that's a big jump.
Yeah.
Warrensburg, Missouri to LA.
Yeah, it's scary, but I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's the jump you have to make. In the internet age, obviously, there's a lot of young artists and talents trying to make a name for themselves. So how hard is it for you guys to fight for attention and space in the digital realm?
Yeah, it's you don't really run into a lot of it like directly, but you know, you just try to look at everyone else's work, see what they're doing, and yeah, I mean, we're competitive people. We always compare ourselves, and we just try to make really cool stuff. I'll say it, stuff that's better than everyone else's, and then that's the point we're trying to get to. And I mean, that's the only way you can come out on top is,
Yeah, it's a
is
good,
just by
good
making
thing to
cool
shoot
stuff.
for.
Yeah.
Why do you think people should care about IYBC Productions?
You know, we're just a group of guys having fun. If you like music videos, if you like Cole Bennett, that's what we're striving for. We're trying to make stuff that people like to watch and have fun watching. So, you know, I don't expect everyone to care about us, but if you like that sort of stuff, I'm sure you would like some of our stuff. So check us out.
I hope you enjoyed that glimpse into university life here in Warrensburg. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for tonight. But don't fear, the show in its entirety and individual segments can be found on our KMOS TV YouTube page. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Kylie Dannett. Good night.